Alright, welcome back. This is the fourth video for the rudder. In this video I'm going to be preparing the upper ribs for the skeleton of the rudder, as well as preparing the skins to get them ready for priming and then for back riveting the stiffeners. Here again I'm fluting the top rib. It's a process of where you get rid of the curvature of the piece from the press, the stamping process. So you do this pretty much with every rib that you come into contact with during the whole build. It's just a process of how the piece is manufactured. So you just take this tool and it basically makes a crease along the flanges of the rib and straightens the piece out. And if you overdo it, if you start to make it bend the other way, well then you just undo a couple of the creases that you made with the same tool, just in the opposite direction. But you'll do it with all the pieces, all the ribs, just to make sure that they're flat and that way they line up with the holes on the skin, because everything is pre-drilled with the assumption that all the pieces are straight. So that's what I did there for both the top rib and also the counterbalance rib, counterbalance weight rib. And so, excuse me. From there, it's just a matter of starting to kind of dry fit the pieces together on a skeleton. I'm getting the first skin to start getting it ready for putting the stiffeners on. The first one, I believe it's the right skin. The front end of it on the upper end is bent at a 90-degree angle, and that's where it wraps around the front end of the skeleton of the rudder. The instructions have you trim off, I want to say it's about a 3/32 strip from that. So you'll take a steel ruler and measure and make a line and trim it off. Easiest means is to use your tin snips. Just because it's such a large piece, it wouldn't be very practical to try to use the bandsaw. So here you see me getting ready to mark off the amount that you're supposed to trim. And I purchased a kit of tin snips, both a left, right, and I guess a center cut. And so it took me a minute to figure out the best way to use those. And so you see me getting the first one here and getting a go at it. And I get through the first couple snips and realize that it's not getting access very well. So then I tried the other direction and realized that's just completely wrong. And then I finally get the center cut snips and it cuts right through it. So that's what I'm doing here. And so then the process would be take off the bluing, and as I said before, I'm not trying to protect the skins from being scratched, because they're going to be scratched all to hell when you go to paint it anyway. And I don't care if it looks pretty while I'm building it. So take off the bluing here. Some folks have used like broom handles, things like that, which makes this process a little easier. One of the other things I've heard from other builders is that the longer you leave this stuff on, the harder it is to get off. So that's another reason that I'm opting to go ahead and take it all off as I go. So from here, I am going to prepare the edges. So I'll take a straight file and try to round off the edges a little bit, get rid of the sharp edges. And I kind of edited quite a bit of this out. You'll see me do the first couple bits and then it'll change over to where I'm almost done. But you just go around the whole perimeter of it and get rid of the sharp edges all throughout the edge of the skin here. And then do it on both sides, obviously, to try to round off both sides. So now I've removed the bluing on both sides and just finishing up getting the edges prepared. And I believe the next step will be to start attaching the components to the rudder spar and getting it ready. And then the other thing, when you're going through skins, you see me mark the skin there. These ones are a little more obvious because of the tab at the top that bends inwards. Obviously, this is there, you can only fit on one side. But a lot of problems that people will run into is that the skins are very identical, so it's very easy to get them backwards and mark up or dimple the wrong side. So I'm making myself a habit of marking the inside of each piece. And here the instructions have you drill out one of the holes specifically. I believe it's for the upper fairing for the rudder. And so you drill it out to size, then you dimple it, and that's what I'm doing here. And then it's basically set aside for later. But like I said, with the skins, for example, the horizontal stabilizer, I believe, is one of the problem areas where people have accidentally dimpled the wrong way on the skins. So it's a good idea just to mark as you're going. On pretty much every piece, I mark the part number, and especially if it's important whether or not it's on the inside face or the outside face, I always mark the inside face just to keep things straight. And then also, again, with the horizontal stabilizer, another issue is that you'll be working left and right, and then you'll suddenly be putting the right-handed or right-side components on the left skin, and so that's another problem area. So it's just things to kind of keep things straight, and it's just a good idea to go ahead and do that. So here I'm doing the same thing on the left skin, where I'm drilling out the one specific hole, and I'll be dimpling it to size that's called out in the instructions. So one of the things that I am getting ready to do after you get all the stiffeners and things like that, the trailing edge has a wedge that you have to prepare. You'll drill the holes through it. You'll countersink where the holes are so the skin, when it's dimpled, can sit flush with the wedge. But one of the things you do here on the RV-14 is you use double-sided tape instead of, I believe, other models have used some kind of a glue or something like that. So I went out and got some double-sided tape, and the only stuff that I could find at local stores was the thicker, almost a padded double-sided tape. And I've tried that, and now that I have everything set up and the rudder's almost done, I've decided I'm actually going to redo that and take that out. Because after I looked it up on Van's website, they actually have a double-sided tape 3M product that is very, very thin and is what is actually intended to be used. The problem with the stuff that I have is that I think that it doesn't allow enough of the rivet to go through, and so when you do the double-sided flush riveting, it's only a small amount, and I don't think it's enough. So I'm going to end up redoing that, pulling off the tape that I had and put on the correct tape. And then also I think that with the tape that I used, that's the thicker double-sided tape, I think it's going to allow for corrosion and whatnot to seep in there as the tape deteriorates, just because more of the tail is opened up there. So that all kind of led me to decide to redo it. And unfortunately, the process of undoing that is not going to be easy. The tail end is clecoed still, but to really open it up, I think I'm going to have to drill out a few rivets and try to get a little more access to be able to pull out the old piece, and then also apply the new tape and put the wedge in there with that in there. So it's just going to be a matter of trying to carefully pry it open without bending the skins too much, and we'll see how that process goes. I'm not looking forward to it. It's going to be quite a bit of getting drilling out rivets and trying to backtrack a little bit. So, but it's the right thing to do. I don't want to risk any chance of issues down the road. You know, you want to maintain high craftsmanship. So that's unfortunately the learning process. So as I'm starting to prepare the counterweight rib and the top rib, I'm gonna go ahead and let this video roll out. And again, I appreciate you watching, and I'll try to get more of these videos out as I can. I'm kind of getting to the end of the excess video that I have laying around, so I need to start working on the project again to actually start making more videos. So I'll get all this done and get up to the speed where I'm at and try to keep putting these out. Again, thanks for watching.